Good afternoon. Welcome to the Golden Pathway Zoom seminar series. We are happy to have you with us today. We have been doing Zoom seminars on topics as diverse as economics and relationships and I'm thinking of those essential oils and healing and all those different kinds of things. I'm sorry. And today we are talking about practical spirituality and how do we change our behaviors so that we come into alignment with what we have learned about what we need to do to become more whole, effective people. We try to provide a path from the 7 major world religions to the teachings of the ascended masters. And we are very happy today to be talking about weaving the deathless solar body. We learn the importance of prayer, decree work, and other resources in order to weave our deathless solar body in part 1 of this series. And today is part 2. And the deathless solar body is the garment of pure light worn by the soul in achieving her permanent bonding to the Holy Christ self. So today we are going to go deeper into this anchoring process. How do we spiritualize our consciousness and become aware of the importance of this cosmic interchange? We'll also have a teaching on the 9th ray. In this session, we'll also be shown how the masters give us the tools to come up higher and touch the hem of their garments. We'll start with a brief recap of part 1, and we're happy to have Brother Frank Sarlo here to present today. He found the teachings of the Ascended Masters in 1978, where he attended his first Summit University with Lord Maitreya. And he has taught Hatha Yoga at Summit University for the Summit Lighthouse during the 1980s and 1990s. And then he spent close to 2 decades in Washington, D.C., serving on the board for part of that time and leading services. He's currently back at the ranch at headquarters and part of the publishing staff, and he leads decrees from headquarters here pretty regularly. And in his free time, Frank continues to do yoga classes. Frank, welcome. We're so happy you are with us today.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm very happy to be here. I'm really happy to be able to continue what we started a few months ago, because there were just a few threads that were left undone, and I really wanted to get them done, particularly because there are so many facets to this deathless solar body, which is really just turning our human body into a divine body and making our ascension. So if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and share my screen now and turn on the presentation.
That would be perfect.
Everybody see that?
Not yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, there's another button.
Now we see it. Thank you.
So to recap, this is one of the most important things that I feel that we need to anchor in our consciousness. The Lord our God is one Lord, and we love that Lord with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, with all our strength. And we need to love our neighbors as ourselves. Right? We actually heard that earlier today. And next, you have to love yourself, right? I mean, that just goes without saying. So here's a little quote from Lady Master Nada about doing that and taking care of that special self, because we're all parts of God. And that's really what this weaving the deathless solar body, or putting on the bridal veil of your true self and your cosmic self. So we discussed several resources that we could use in order to do physical things in our world to bring that strength of that spiritual body into our current life. So the studies of the human aura is really pivotal. And if people haven't read that yet, go ahead and definitely read it. But also, we want to look at two particular areas. In Kathumi's part in book 1, there's strengthening of the aura, where he gives a meditation on the I am light decree, where you visualize yourself as an ovoid of white fire. And that visualization returns again and again as we go through the master's teachings, and as your higher self shows you what you really are. Okay, and secondly, in the second part of that book by Dwal Kul, he gives us a sacred fire breath meditation where we do pranayama. We make a few calls and we have a very specific visualization, and that's all described in the Human Aura book, but it's also in our decree book, so 4009. It takes you the whole thing, the visualization, the call to the fire breath, and then the breathing exercise, and subsequently the pranayama that goes with that. Of course, this whole concept of weaving your divine body and strengthening your true self and washing out the human that we've created over the years is the path of the ascension. So if you want to really dig into the path of the ascension, we have 2 books, and the first one is just a book on Dossier on the Ascension by Serapis Bey. But the reality of your ascension is also a seminar that was given that you can read the book or you can listen to the videos and experience it that way. So pivotal for me to this entire process is these 2 books, The Mysteries of the Holy Grail and The Opening of the Seventh Seal. The Mysteries of the Holy Grail, given by Archangel Gabriel, was a step-by-step process of really showing you who you are and what the forces that are directed against you are. And Archangel Gabriel really gives that strength of his knowledge and awareness and his light vibration as you focus on him. And we'll be getting on that a little bit more later. One of the biggest parts of this putting on your deathless solar body is becoming one with the entire body of God. So whenever you read something from the masters or do decrees or you do those invocations, you call to the masters, they're there with you. So for me, the capstone of all of our written books is the Opening of the Seventh Seal, which was the last of the books that we created by Mother that was written down, and it was not, dictations given from the altar. And we're going to look at some of this a little bit later, but it's worth reading over and over again. Both of them are. Every now and then, when I'm feeling, you kind of get a vibe, like, okay, well, I need to get back into that opening of the seventh seal, and I take that step of going ahead and reading the Mysteries of the Holy Grail first, and then I go into the opening of the seventh seal. And there's just some amazing information there and descriptions about exactly what's going on the planet, and some really fantastic meditations. So let's go back to yoga, right? So because the path of yoga forever was the path of the ascension, right? Before we had the Ascended Master's teachings, the Yoga Sutras were created for people that were on this path, and it was not an elaborate discussion of things like we have now. Like you might see something within the Yoga Sutras that the masters just embellish, and they turn into a gigantic blossoming flower mandala that with all these ramifications and beautiful out picturings of it as it hits your consciousness. But the Yoga Sutras describe an eightfold path. And the first 2 steps are the yamas and the niyamas, right? So the yamas are like it says, self-regulatory behaviors involving our interactions with other people in the world at large. So it's how do you interact with the outside world? This is the first step. Can you be nonviolent? Can you be truthful? Can you not steal? Can you not take things to excess? And are you make sure you're not greedy, right? So you have to get over those things before you can actually take the next step to the yamas, which are more personal, right? It's actually getting, working on the purity of your being and being content, not always wanting things, being self-disciplined and training your senses, self-study and inner exploration, and then surrender. So now that you've gone through those 2 steps, what is the next 6 limbs? This is actually where it takes you to Hatha Yoga. That's the first step. Once you've got to get your life in order before you can really approach your higher self. So Hatha Yoga was meant to prepare somebody for meditation. It's gotten to the point now where it's very healthy to just go to a yoga class, and a lot of people don't really emphasize the meditative part of it. But traditionally, after you did your postures, you did breathing exercises, and then worked your way into meditation. And by work your way into what we see here is you need to withdraw from the outside world, and then you concentrate on something. Now, as you're concentrating on whatever that is, and it could be, an ascended master or your heart frame, your threefold flame, which is where we have our focus of concentration, then from that, God will start to show you things, right? Things will come to you. And this is where meditation comes in. It's not just, you're not just focusing on one thing, but then all of a sudden that thing blossoms into more profound realizations. And then within the world of the yogis, the next step was going to samadhi, and absorption in the one God. And how that relates to the ascension and not ascending and the unascended masters and people staying in samadhi in the physical body is all part of that package. So now we have the teachings of the ascended masters, and we have a lot more to discuss. But those foundations you can see are built within the teachings of the ascended masters. Built within. Okay, so here we have Cyclopedia's quote that I talked about a little bit at the last lecture, and he gives us a list of things that we can do in order to strengthen our aura. And what he says here is to contact a mighty reservoir of light in the heart of Helios and Vesta that is a balancing action for this solar system. So that goes kind of far beyond just, building your own deathless solar body. That's actually helping other people, which is what it's all about when it comes down to it, is helping other people. So the reason that we do all of these things to better ourselves and become one with our I am presence and holy Christ self is so that other people can be blessed and other people can be brought up. So here, let's go over this list, right? He has the 4-point breathing exercise, which we talked about. It was draw coals, fire breath from the human aura, visualizing the threefold flame of light flow in the chakras. So it's meditation. Now here he talks about the rhythm of yoga, and he has it separate from exercise. So rhythm of yoga could be all of the different yogas, the bhakti yoga, the raja yoga, meditation being part of that, and just loving God. So you have, your life is a rhythm, and that rhythm of you're becoming one with your I am presence and holy Christ self, which is yoga, which is union, right? Yoga means union. Then what I feel is very key, because it can take you from wherever you are on the spectrum, you can practice the science of the spoken word through the dynamic decree and start drawing your energies into alignment with your higher self. Pivotal is having the right diet, that kind of goes several ways, because if you're eating properly, you're healthy, then more light can flow through you. And if you're eating properly, then you can live longer. And then you can have a longer period where you're serving the master, you're serving your I am presence, you're serving humanity by having a pure body. So you can see why that diet is important. And then he puts in exercise here, and that could be anything. Go for a walk. It could be lifting weights. It could be doing hatha yoga postures, any kind of aerobics, anything that you'll do consistently. That's I think the most important thing. What's the best exercise? It's the one that you do. So Dwal Kul at some point said that he would like us to do 15 minutes of exercises a day. And that's not much. You can be bouncing on a rebounder, you can be walking, you can just stretching. If you have to look at where you're at and then take the next step. Just a little bit more, just do a little bit more. If you're sitting down and watching TV all the time, it's easy. You just get up and walk around. But anyway, 15 minutes was all really that you would needed to do. It's kind of good if you get your huffing and puffing, but if you're not used to aerobic exercises, start slow and check with your doctor if you have any question. Okay, now then most of you have been doing most of these already, right? But this other one is really the key to this whole thing about a mighty reservoir of light in the heart of Helios and Vesta. Because what he says was to face the sun once a day for 10 minutes as you give the call to Helios and Vesta, taking care not to look directly at the sun, which is, obvious. But that it'll change your life. If you do that for any period of time, you'll definitely feel a difference in your world. It won't happen right away, but it will gradually happen. It's just like the sun is shining on the seeds in the ground, and they grow and become plants and flowers and vegetables and fruits. But here he's talking about going beyond just our life and our planet to hold a balance for the solar system. So we're getting into an area here where we're working with the ascended masters, in this case Helios and Vesta, to help them, because they need people in the physical plane to practice these practices. They can't do it on their own from the ascended state. All right, so now we have requirements for the ascension. You'll see there's another slide later. It says the ascension is the only goal. We have a lot of things that we could do down here while we're on this planet, but ultimately the ascension is going to be your goal. So like it says here, it can come to anyone, even a little child. So yeah, I mean, a little child may have fulfilled all the requirements for the ascension. We don't know. We can't judge that just because they're little. We don't know what their past life is. Okay, but these are the requirements. So you balance your threefold flame. Align the four lower bodies and make them function as pure chalices for the flame of the Holy Spirit in the world of form. So now we're getting into a whole nother layer of getting closer to God. Okay, then when you have a balance of mastery that has been achieved in all of the rays, the 7 rays, and also the rays beyond, the secret rays, but particularly talking about the 7 rays here. You want to attain mastery over sin, sickness, and death, and over every outer condition. So you're not affected by outer conditions. You fulfill your divine plan through service rendered to God and man. So what's your divine plan? How do you do God's will? Well, you have talents. And if you look around, you'll see God has needs. So at this point, your divine plan and fulfilling God's will is for you to apply your talents to God's needs. and the rest will unfold. Okay, and here we talk about the balancing of the 51% of your karma, and that's 51% of all of your embodiments. And as we know, that used to be 100% before you actually made that ascension, like Jesus did, or Gautama Buddha, or many of the other masters. But they're giving a dispensation in this time because they realize how hard it is with the opposition that we have currently in this Kali Yuga to break through that barrier. So we get a dispensation where we only have to balance 51% in order to make the ascension and to work on that ascension on the inner and not have to re-embody. So lastly, when your heart is just towards both God and man, and you aspire to rise into the never-failing light of God's eternally ascending presence. So think of that. God is always ascending. So we should always be ascending. It shouldn't actually be a big deal. We should just, become one with our light body and transcend and grow and expand in God's consciousness. Sounds easy. Okay, now, some of these initiations are given just at the retreat at Luxor. And these are listed here. The transmutation of the electronic belt, which we think we're doing all the time, but I'm sure it's much more scientifically described in the Luxor retreat. Correctly using the chakras and the caduceus, raising of the seed atom, the kundalini, which we're asking, like not to try to do out here, but here it says, yeah, it's something that can happen, but it's something that it will happen at the guidance of our I am presence and Holy Christ self. It's not something we try to force. But through all of these other things that we were talking about, the right diet and the degrees and praying and loving God and loving our fellow man and loving ourselves, will automatically start to make these things happen. And then this last one, the building of the cone of fire for the transmutation of the last vestiges of one's human creation. So that's happening like right while you are making your ascension, right? There's some little remnants back in our four lower bodies. If we're actually making the ascension from our physical body, then there's some residue that's left. And what this is I can't really talk to it too much because it's a initiation they give you at Luxor, right? So how do you build that cone of fire? I have seen it referred to several times, but it's just that last little bit of that human creation that needs to go into the fire. Then I guess there's something special about it beyond what we normally do, which is do our decrees and pray and invoke the light in our daily lives. So those are and that's all available on the encyclopedia at summitlighthouse.org. All right. I wanted to put this in here because I think it's really important. And the sad part about this is I'm not sure where I heard this or read it. I'm pretty sure it was in the Word, Volume 4, but when I went back and looked, I couldn't find it. But Jesus did ask us to fast and confess every Saturday. And I know in the past, we used to fast every Saturday without fail when we were at Camelot. We came up to Montana, it was a little bit cold, so the people didn't stress fasting that much. And so I've been doing this since I read it. And it's really good to, kind of empty out and feel like light and airy on Saturdays. But the whole confession thing was, before I would only confess if I really did something wrong. I definitely have to make a confession now. But that's only getting the gross things, the worst of the worst. But if you find that if you're confessing every Saturday, you really start to peel down on the onion and get to some really subtle things that may be blocking your pathway. So, take it as you like, but it's just fasting and confessing every Saturday. So now I'd like to play a little bit of a dictation by the goddess of purity. And this part that's on the screen is just a very small part of what she's talking about. But it does talk about doing 5 minutes of concentration on purity in the heart of God and using her decrees, right, to like 5 minutes a day and seeing how that's going to affect you. I mean, almost anything that I've done consistently over a period of time has changed my life. Like I said, it doesn't change right away, but it will change. So I'm going to go ahead and going to start the audio on this now, and center in your hearts and visualize the goddess of purity, bringing her electronic force field in with your electronic force field.
We have chosen you, and you have chosen the great central sun as the goal of your life. Now let us run, let us accelerate the pace, let us keep the pace that is for the health of the worthy steed. Let us reserve energy for the finish and for the victory, and yet let the pace be that which is necessary to secure the goal on time and ahead of time. In the space of Buddha, in the time of Mother, I am come. I am the light of far-off worlds. I have stood upon and within myriad star clusters this very day. I come drenched with the garments of cosmic purity. I have bowed before the lords of flame, Sanat Kumara and the 7 holy Kumaras. If you would do the same, beloved ones, know that purity, as the initiation vouchsafed to you by Lord Maitreya, is the shortest distance between 2 points, the point of the lesser self and the greater self. You may think of it as the aisle in the great cathedral, and your soul, with the bridal veil and the bridal gown of your own seamless garment, must walk that aisle. It is a long aisle. You may visualize yourself walking through this life as though walking down that aisle, a bride adorned for her husband. Your husband is the living God, the eternal Christos. And so it is your Father who walks with you down this aisle. And in holding his arm, you are secure in the protection of your own blessed I Am presence, until you come then to the place where you, in reuniting with the eternal Christ, put on the sphere of unity, of cosmic consciousness, and your soul is sealed in the love of the cosmic lover. And so you are one, and the movement of your soul in and out of the great central sun of the cosmic Christ assures the continuity of being forever and forever and forever. Let me be then your maid of honor. Let me walk before you. Let me throw now the rose petals of the love of God that makes the walk a little more light, a little more easy, as your heart trembles in anticipation of the eternal reunion with the one, the light, the victory, the real self. Beloved ones, let every day be the living witness of this, the alchemical marriage. Let every day be the witness that you have added a precious fleur-de-lis to the veil, to the wedding garment, and the patterned daisy, and the rose, and the lily, and the violet, but forget-me-not. Beloved ones, the pure white radiance of your wedding garment is indeed the floral offering of your soul made fragrant day by day. And so the thrust for a cosmic purpose comes this day from the cosmic Virgin, the cosmic Mother. And the great fountain of purity will rise. It shall rise, beloved ones, because you choose to be in the mainstream of cosmic purity. And by placing your attention upon this purity for 5 minutes, intensely amplifying that purity of God, I desire that you should know, each and every one of you, that you may dissolve any discordant habit, the power of any binding influence. I charge each and every one of you, little children, those who are mature, those who are attending Montessori International, that I will impart to you the momentum of my purity, that you may be free from entities of addiction, addiction to sugar, to substances that ought not to penetrate your body temple, to rock music in all of its forms and degradations, for this is the opening of the astral pit to the greatest impurity that has ever been known upon land or sea or within the soul of the children of light. Beloved ones, you must understand that because purity is accessible, you will discover when you place your attention upon purity, whether or not you truly desire to please God and to be rid of that substance within your own subconscious. You will discover whether you desire to be rid of those emotions, those energies that pull against the mainstream of cosmic purpose of the great white brotherhood. Beloved ones, 5 minutes of concentration upon absolute purity in the heart of God in the great central sun, and my own name and flame will establish within you such a momentum and spiral of purity that you will find that you will be able to walk away from those binding habits and conditions of which you have often declared, I simply do not seem to be able to be rid of this flaw within my character, within my being. Beloved ones, let us cease the struggle by cosmic purity. Let us rise to a new dimension of consciousness. Let us rise to the plane of being, where we look from the mountain and behold the sky and the sea and the sun, and our cosmic consciousness is as one, and we are in the sylphs and the undines and the fiery salamanders, the gnomes and the angel devas. We look with a co-measurement that says, this is my earth, this earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. I will take dominion by the flame of cosmic purity. I will send forth the name of God. I am that I am. I will send it forth within my being. I will send it forth within my life. And it will go forth from me into every nook and cranny of this world, within and without. And that cosmic purity, as a spiral unfurled from the heart of the goddess of purity, will renew life, will set the record straight. We'll start now the impartation of light, 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 as streams and streamers of cosmic consciousness go forth. And these will intersect and roll back those other spirals of darkness.
So, very inspiring. She's willing to help us. I'm sure that everybody could use getting rid of some flaw in your character. I know I can. All right, so she said to focus on her for 5 minutes a day. And I picked out this 4007 Goddess of Purity decree primarily because it's a little bit complicated, and it's good to just listen to Mother say it. And we're going to do it. We're only going to do it once because I don't want to go over time here. But let's do this decree. So everybody at your homes, sit up straight, and we will do the preamble, and then we'll go right into it, and we'll do it one time through.
In the name of the beloved, mighty, victorious presence of God, I am in me, my very own beloved, holy Christ self. Holy Christ selves of all mankind, the beloved goddess of purity, beloved Lanello, the entire spirit of the great white brotherhood and the world mother, elemental life, fire, air, water, and earth, I decree. Goddess of purity, being of light, charge me now with thy flame bright. Balance my four lower bodies aright. By thy love make all things right. Purity's radiance I would be, purity for eternity. God's own image of love unfold, flood my being with happiness gold. Keeping on as barriers go, for God is purity, this I know. Goddess of purity, I come to thee, seeking the way of purity. All nature sings and joy bells ring, as to thy hand in love I cling. Purity's radiance I would be, purity for eternity. God's own image of love unfold, flood my being with happiness gold. Keeping on as barriers go, for God is purity, this I know. Goddess of purity, O precious one, prism of the central sun, flaming color of crystal light, make my garments in love all white. Purity's radiance I would be, purity for eternity. God's own image of love unfold, flood my being with happiness gold. Keeping on as barriers go, for God is purity, this I know. From my soul let stain now go, as I bask in purity's glow. With God alone I go forth to rule, human bondage no more can fool. Purity's radiance I would be, purity for eternity. God's own image of love unfold, flood my being with happiness gold. Keeping on as barriers go, for God is purity, this I know. Take dominion in my soul, God's own purity make me whole, for nothing is impossible now, when to his love in truth I bow. Purity's radiance I would be, purity for eternity. God's own image of love unfold, flood my being with happiness gold. Keeping on as barriers go, for God is purity, this I know.
And in full faith, I consciously accept this, manifest, manifest, manifest. And in full faith, I consciously accept this, manifest, manifest, manifest. And in full faith, I consciously accept this, manifest, manifest, manifest. Right here and now, with full power, eternally sustained, all powerfully active, ever expanding and world enfolding to all are wholly ascended in light and free. Beloved I am, beloved I am, beloved I am. You can do any purity decree for that. All right, so let's move on to something we talked about in our last presentation, honor and humility. I pulled out just a very small portion of that quote by Jesus from his dictation. And let's think about this for a second. Thus as you see it unto me, you say it unto me. O Jesus, my Lord, thou the all and I the nothing. Thou the all, and I the nothing. So let's say that a few times. O Jesus, my Lord, thou the all, and I the nothing. Thou the all, and I the nothing. thou the all, and I the nothing. O Jesus, my Lord, thou the all, and I the nothing. Thou the all, and I the nothing. And as you say it, beloved, my Christ presence, Jesus Christ's presence, becomes the allness in you. And the mortal self disintegrates, and the true self is manifest. So here we're really getting to that point where we have surrendered and we've done all the right things. We've eaten the right diet. We've done our exercises. We've breathed healthy air. We've loved everybody, and we're getting closer and closer. So to overcoming our human creation. And what Jesus is saying is here is if we allow him, he can disintegrate our mortal self. He can help you. And all the masters are here to help you. Because this is the yin and yang of Alpha and Omega, right? We are the Omega and Jesus is the Alpha in this case. All right, because I pulled out a couple of fiats that we can do to Jesus, and this for your take home with you. One of them is pretty familiar. The first one, Jesus, I bid you enter my whole temple now. By my free will, by my God dominion, I welcome you, and I let go of everything, my Lord. It's something you can say at any time of the day, and just keep it handy in your heart. But Jesus also said in another dictation, where he's talking about us going with him in his heart to the altar in the great central sun to pray with him before Alpha and Omega for the conditions on the earth, which is mind-boggling to me that we can share that experience with Jesus. He's asking us to. So this fiat you can take home and just do it whenever you want. At nighttime before you go to bed is really good. So it's Jesus, oh Jesus, take me in your heart to the heart of God, that I might pray with you for earth and the systems of worlds. So Jesus is not just the Christ for here. He's working with other systems of worlds. And he's asking you if you would like to come along and help him by giving your unique perspective and being part of his retinue when he goes before Alpha and Omega to make these prayers. It's really humbling. Okay, so now we're going a little bit more into the flow of energy. In the Mystery of the Holy Grail book, he gives several diagrams on the way energy flows from spirit to matter. So we're going to go over a few of these here. So we see two balls, and so picture those spheres, and the one on top is spinning clockwise, and the one on the bottom is spinning counterclockwise. So this is your spirit body on the top, and it's your human body on the bottom. So the Alpha on the top and Omega on the bottom, spirit and matter. And he gives several of those. I'm not showing them all, but they're all kind of the same, and they show the plus and minus factor as you go around the circles. But here it shows the spiral as it comes down clockwise through spirit, and it changes direction at the nexus at the Christ to a counterclockwise spin, right? Then you get to the bottom and you start back up. So you're just going counterclockwise until you get to the center, and it goes in a clockwise direction, right? So it goes back up. And this is constantly happening, right? So this shows this. And in Sanat Kumar's book, there's a chapter on the mystery of the white cube. And in it, he gives a meditation on the white fire, blue fire sun. So this is a really good visualization if you want to get that down. He talks about, I mean, it's a long, involved thing, and it's something that you really want to do on your own. So that's why I really advocate reading the opening of the seven seals. And it shows this energy flow. So you get the visualization here from Archangel Gabriel on the way that flows, right, from spirit to matter. The energy is constantly going. There's two balls that are spinning, and our problem, I guess, at this point is that the energy on the bottom is kind of locked because I'd like to say we took that energy and we put it in our pocket because we want to use it. We use it for some selfish things, right? We didn't just let it go back up, but that's really what we want to have, this constant flow between spirit and matter. So that's a really good visualization of that. And this is, yeah, indeed, it's kind of complicated looking. I mean, it's from the opening of the seventh seal, but when you're into it and really reading it, you'll understand it. And a lot of this already, because we've done ritual of exorcism and other things. We've gone through all of these stages, and notice there's numbers here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 is the initiation of the first ray chakra, right? So that's the throat chakra. That's 1, and we go to 2 to the crown chakra. 3 to the heart chakra, 4 to the base of the spine chakra, the mother flame, and then 5 to the 5th ray, the third eye chakra, 6 to the solar plexus chakra, 7 to the seat of the soul chakra, 8 to the 8th ray secret chamber of the heart. Now, you all know that. You're probably saying, oh yeah, well, I know that, Frank. But what I wanted to show you was this 9th ray chakra initiation. It's initiation not of a chakra, it's initiation of a causal body. It's when the ascended masters work with unascended disciples, which we've been talking about, right? Talked about the goddess of purity and Jesus working with us, and all of these ascended masters have given us the invitation to work with them and to have their electronic presence with us. So in the book on the opening of the seventh seal, that chapter 29 talks particularly about Lady Christine, who had just gone through the initiation of the ascension. And he talks about how she worked with Mother and Lanello when she, probably for a long time, we'll see a little bit more about that later. But she, as a newly ascended being, was on that initiation, working with people that she had worked with in graphic arts and other places throughout the community, and probably even before she came to the community. So now all of a sudden she's an ascended being working with unascended disciples, which is initiation that we'll all go through. So if you don't mind, I would just love to read this. And here we go. Thus the ascended Lady Master Christine has completed the 8th and begun the 9th initiations of the Ruby Ray. Whilst the 2 prophets held the balance for her, the son on this side of the bridge, the father on the other. This bridge of life is the narrow path of initiation whereby the soul crosses the wide chasm between the non-permanent and the permanent worlds. The dispensation of the 2 witnesses who come in the hour of the great gathering of the elect unto the ascension is one of holding the bridge in suspension until the elect have crossed over. This is the balance that our messengers hold for you and for all on earth who follow the cycles of the Ruby Ray. And this is really why I'm reading this. And you, my beloved, are called upon by the Darjeeling Council to hold the balance for a world and its life waves, for the platform of every level of evolution might be preserved and the next in line approach the bridge. Now, you who wonder what the saints in heaven are doing, who watch over you, may reflect upon the administrations of the Lady Christine, whose activities on the 9th ray are very much enmeshed with your own. Ascended masters on the 9th ray are the coordinates of the embodied servants of the Lamb. They work best and most ardently with those who understand this intimate interaction twixt heaven and earth through the initiates of the degrees, and are the glad, free, willing vessel for the holy water of their beloved brothers and sisters. So you open yourself up to become the vessel of the energies of the ascended ones. This mutual service of love that spans the octaves and the light years is referred to as the meshing of the bridal veils. As the bride above tosses her bouquet to the bride-to-be below, it is a conferment of the fleur-de-lis flower of the Sacred Heart, whereby the veil of the Cosmic Virgin shall be passed in due season to the maid of honor. This goes into another area. My message on the opening of the 7th seal, then, is not intended to be another vicarious atonement whereby I or my 7 Chohans should open the book of life for you. Rather, all of our instruction is purposed by the Lord God Almighty to give to you a nucleus of light upon which to meditate and finally become, so that you, my beloved, may also be with the sons of God on Sirius, the Lamb who is worthy to take the 7th sealed book from my hand and to open it. And then he asks, will you now take a 7-day cycle to review all that has gone before in the pearls of wisdom? And this is what I wanted to point out. Meditate daily upon the God star, using the compelling call to beloved Surya in the great central sun, which I dictated to your messenger, Mark L. Prophet, for this very moment, when you should make the leap in consciousness to the Photic light of Sirius. So again, this is another thing. If you decided that you wanted to meditate daily on the God star to Surya, and I'm sure a lot of you have done this and have had profound effect from it. So let's get back to Lady Christine for a second. And I'm not going to go too far into this pearl, but it was given, it's on volume 35, number 61. It was a dictation by Saint Therese of Avila. And what she talks about is her interaction with Elizabeth Clare Prophet in her embodiments. Throughout those 2 now ascended beings, throughout their embodiments, they were working one in heaven and one on earth to help each other, wherever they were. So what she's describing here was that when she was Saint Teresa of Avila, Mother was working in the heaven world, helping her along. So they've been working kind of as soulmates as they've gone through many embodiments. So it's really worth reading to get that idea of, how close we are to the ascended beings. Right. So this is my conclusion. Your decree book is your handbook for your ascension. The goal of life is the ascension. There is no other goal. But we're going to give Jesus just a few seconds to say his conclusion.
You can conquer, for all of heaven stands ready to infuse the power of your word with victory. Try me. I am your elder brother. I am your Jesus, and I stand ready at the hour when you have passed the necessary initiations, to come before you as the priest of the sacred fire, to perform the marriage ceremony of the soul with the Spirit of God. You have the pattern, and you have the mantle. Now walk in the pathway of light, be overcomers, and prepare for your wedding day. Prepare for the day when the crown of glory shall rest upon your heads, as the victorious overcoming of the crown of the 12 stars of the Divine Mother. Prepare for its physical, tangible manifestation within you. For right on earth you can walk as ascended, unascended beings. Would you not like to be an unascended, ascended master, an unascended, ascended lady master? This means that you have the power and authority of an ascended being while you yet walk the earth in robes of flesh. This is possible in this age. Hasten then the balancing of your karma. Let not one opportunity pass to be sons and daughters of dominion. And then watch the great opportunities that the cosmic lords and hierarchies shall present to you, to be victors over hell and death, to have the all power of heaven and earth, and to extend it unto the children of mankind.
Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. It was really great being able to study this subject. So thank you for letting me do that. Any questions? Anybody? Comments?
Thank you, Frank. People are apparently meditating. Questions, comments for Frank?
It's very helpful. Very helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been helpful for me to see that, like we're hoping that we're doing the right thing. We're trying our best to do the right thing. We are doing the right things. You say, well, when you're doing the right things, and all it opens this flood tide of light from the masters to help you and just bring you up, because as we all know, this is Maya, an illusion down here, right? We don't want to be stuck down here forever. There's a real world out there, the permanent world. This is the non-permanent world. We don't want to be down here forever.
That was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Frank.
you, Frank. Very helpful.
Thank you, Frank. It's definitely a call to action for more meditation.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Hi, Frank.
Hi, everybody. Hi, James.
Yeah, I wonder if you got my chat message. I've known about this teaching from St. Patrick for years. It's actually also found in the Pearl of Wisdom, number 28, volume 28, number 16 for 1985. Talks quite extensively, several paragraphs in Confession on Saturday in fasting.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Was it Mother's lecture on St. Patrick?
No, it's actually St. Patrick dictating.
The dictation?
Yeah, I think it's at North Ranch, Deer Park Chapel.
She
And there's
gave
another
a big
message.
long lecture on him one day, and what she said was that somebody was commenting on St. Patrick that his embodiment was a world event, and then she just turned to us and said, "You want your embodiment to be a world event."
Right.
Well, that's a call to action right there.
There's another message in the chat that says today is the feast day in the Catholic Church of Saint Teresa of Avila.
There are no
Perfect timing.
coincidences. Yeah, and Mother's Ascension Day. It was right around, we've celebrated it today.
Mm-hmm.
And that first quote I had from Jesus about loving God above all other things, that was part of the Mother's lecture at the service today.
Mhm.
That's right.
When she was Saint Teresa of Avila, she was very close to John Saint
Of
John
the Cross.
Did he make his ascension? I haven't heard that.
Who?
Saint John of the Cross was like very, very close to Saint Teresa of Avila, who wrote about the mansion, her very famous book. She's one of the most recognized saints in the Catholic Church, Saint Teresa of Avila, but she was very close to Saint John of the Cross, and very close. Like she started an order and 2 orders, and she turned one of them over to him because it was more for men, and she started one for women. But I just was wondering if he made his ascension.
I just asked my husband because he studies St. John of the Cross, and he said he doesn't think he has.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I'm going to look on the encyclopedia now and see.
Well, Frank, we are grateful. We got a lot of teachings. We got 3 or 4 different things we could do for 5 minutes a day to increase our meditation. What would it be like if we did all 3 or 4 of them? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. You would be a chalice. Your life will change. I mean, God is a purity. He said, if you invoke all of this purity, it's going to bring out all of the impure stuff and you just wash it out of you.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Works for me. Any more questions or comments for Frank?
Yeah, I do have one question regarding the ascension. Could you talk something about the ascension accelerator, the accelerator chair? Have you heard about that?
I think it's at the Teton retreat.
It's
Where
in the cave of symbols.
And yeah, right. I mean, you can ask to go there. And I don't know what kind of initiations you need to pass in order for that to you get that blessing, but it's available. Absolutely.
What is that?
So my I can't even guess at what it does. Does it accelerate all of your physical atoms like in your physical body, or only does it have an effect on your etheric and higher body?
No, I think it's on the physical too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we should all go there. We should line up tonight.
You can read it in the Magic Presence. I've just been reading that book, and it's quite detailed, the account of the Magic Presence,
Right.
and watching the different people sitting in the chair.
And Herbert Michael had one here at the ranch here for a while.
In which book was this in?
The Magic Presence, the green books, the Magic Presence, the Saint Germain Society books by Godfrey Ray King, by Godfrey.
All right. Did that answer your question, Joy?
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
Well, thank you, everyone. We're glad to have you here. Thank you, Frank, for all those great teachings and spurring us on to meditate more effectively and efficiently and often, in my case. And next month, our presentation is going to be by Joy Ruleski, and it's about karma and the bliss of our Dharma. So come back on the 19th of November and join us for another Zoom seminar on the Golden Pathway. God bless and God victory.
Thank you.
thank you very